all day, every day, listening to flats being built. We are awoken by the sound of drills and hammers constructing a new block of luxury apartments next door. We leave our flats in South London to work in offices in North London, and there too we are surrounded by building sites next door from the office, across the road from the office, and 3 more on our way to Tesco at lunch to buy a meal deal that is high in protein, low in salt, and inexpensive enough that we can eat it every day and still not struggle to pay our rent. We eat our meal deals at our desk because despite our contractually guaranteed lunch hours, it is seen implicitly as a sign of laziness to take any more than 10 minutes, a signal that we are ineligible for a promotion, without which we will never earn enough to own a home, have a pension, or pay for our healthcare once the NHS has been well and truly privatised once and for all. My desk faces the window, which means I can watch the building site across the street grow incrementally higher each week. This means there is less sky visible every time I return to work on Monday morning after a weekend of having my genitals groped by security staff at nightclubs, queuing outside cafes for an hour and a half to pay for a £25 brunch, and scouting for opportunities for Instagram to make this entire experience appear to be less banal and tiresome than it actually was. On those Monday mornings, clinging to the delicious memory of extravagant brunch, I get on a bus just by London Bridge, past the private security personnel lurking silently by the Shard, past the office workers panicked by the sudden closure of a part of London Bridge station, an army of TfL workers appearing from nowhere to usher them around, and on those occasions, we all quietly imagine the terrible things that could have happened to force a part of a tube station to close before burying those thoughts deep beneath other concerns, such as whether we can stay at work until 8:30 p.m. this evening, 3.5 hours past our contractual obligations, and still have time to go to Pilates, meet our friends, and practice 15 minutes of mindfulness before we go to bed, listing 5 things at which we excel. We arrive at work to sit silently by our colleagues, speaking only when absolutely necessary, bitterly resenting the opinions that we assume they hold about Jeremy Corbyn, the Channel 4 reboot of Bake Off, and what it really meant for Britain to take back control of its borders from the unelected bureaucrats of Brussels and Strasbourg. In reality, we don't know they hold any of these opinions because none of us ever asked for each other's opinions, and we don't plan on doing so anytime soon. A few times a month I'm struck by an epiphany on the evening commute, and it is always as potent as if it were the very first time I've ever had this thought. That is, I am desperately unfulfilled and I must make radical changes to my life right now, here at this very moment. On this occasion, I reach for the most immediately available solution, that is, a bottle of wine on the way home and messages to friends to see us around later. My friend Jamie reliably replies within 5 minutes and we form a plan to go out. Jamie works in advertising, helping various ethically bereft brands sell useless products to people who hate themselves. He gets up every morning at 5:30 a.m. to work out for 2.5 hours at a bodybuilding gym, perfecting his extremely beautiful physique, which he still, most of the time, hates. We meet at Peckham Rye Station, give a kiss on both cheeks, and call each other babes. On the overground, Jamie talks about the life coach he's been seeing for bi-weekly sessions and the breakthrough he feels he's been nearing. I talk about the guided meditation app I've downloaded to my phone and the nightmares I've been having about terrorism and the apocalypse. We go to a club in Hackney to watch a drag show. Tonight, an art school queen is giving a performance about Britain's national obsession with celebrity, transparently using the entire performance as a means of advancing her own celebrity, doing 3 numbers throughout the night and listing her Twitter and Instagram handle several times throughout each performance. She finishes with a lip sync to Posh Spice's underrated solo hit, Not Such an Innocent Girl, which she describes as using elements of camp, agitprop and satire to interrogate the roots of England's class segregation, asking, is the social mobility experienced by the Spice Girls in the mid-1990s still available to us today in the late 2010s? The crowd goes wild. Jamie and I stand mainly in silence, speaking only to share the occasional opinion about identity politics. After a gap in our conversation extends well beyond 10 minutes, we decide the thing we're looking for just isn't in this club and it's time to go somewhere else. We get an Uber to Dalston, briefly discussing the ethical implications of using Uber, but finally and uneasily agreeing that there's just no conceivable way of living under Western neoliberalism without exploiting somebody else in some way. We paid £12 into a club that described itself on Instagram as East London's most radical queer night spot. It is packed wall to wall with the rich grown-up children of forgotten YBAs, dressed head to toe in oversized and ironic 90s sportswear in a calculated effort to appear to be poorer than they actually are. As if their battered Lecoq sportifs could conceal their limitless access to their parents' inherited wealth, which means they have never had to work a day in their lives. I head straight for the bar, eager to quench the anxiety of having just found the £12 that I needed for buying high-protein meal deals for the rest of the week. queue for just over half an hour to buy 2 pints of watery beer for an additional £7 each. Constantly in someone's way, unable to get properly drunk, not quite swaying, not quite chatting, it becomes apparent what a ridiculous idea it was to come out tonight at all. Jamie is chatting to an older investment banker in Grindr while I am having my second epiphany of the day. My mindfulness routine clearly paying off, that is, I am desperately unfulfilled and I must make radical changes to my life right now, here at this very moment. Unable to stand a minute longer, I tell Jamie I feel sick and need to leave. I catch a night bus without having to wait very long, and I am thrilled with this new resolve to change my life. Passing under street lamps that suddenly seem very romantic, I spontaneously begin making extravagant purchases on my phone. A blender that retains the nutritional composition of the vegetable. A lamp that wakes you up with natural sunlight. Running shoes with scientifically approved ankle support. And a 6-week course on contemporary dance. Tomorrow, I know it will feel different. I will feel paranoid and anxious at my desk, bitterly disgusted with myself for not getting up on time to go to the gym. Staring in the mirror of a pret-a-manger bathroom on my lunchtime, transfixed and suddenly paranoid about aging, I will loathe myself for having 2 lines on my forehead that are much too deep for someone who was only born in the 1990s, hook and sinker sure for the very first time that my hairline is indeed receding and I have not been lucky enough to inherit the genes from my mother's side. I will enviously browse the Facebook photos of friends who quit their jobs in marketing to become personal trainers, or the occasional fortunate acquaintance who managed to carve a financially viable career in the arts, subsidised by their property developer parents, I suspect, but nonetheless repulsed by my own choices that have led me to this pret-a-manger bathroom, doomed to spend the rest of my days in an office full of people I resent for no good reason, hungover, unfulfilled, gracelessly aging, and dreaming of all the things that I'll do, and all the doors that will open once I buy a NutriBullet and take up yoga. Thank you very much.